Hi, everyone. Welcome to Gab Design with Gabby. Today we will be talking to Gwynny Inchanagusia, and she is a super talented designer and artist. And we'll be talking about her design journey and how she came to be the talented designer that she is today. So, without further ado, we'll start the podcast. Here we go. All right. Hi, Gwen. How are you?
Hi, good and you?
Good to see you. I'm
You
glad you got my
too.
memo of the rock girls wearing our rock band t-shirts. So you got Oasis, one of my favorites. I got Two
Thank
Door
you.
Cinema Club.
Icons of
I know.
music
I love that
video.
we bonded on that. Like, I was a total Oasis back in high school. Like, that was my jam.
Yeah.
Oh, well, how have things been? What have you been up to since we last talked?
Things have been good. I think I ended the year pretty good. I got to be a speaker at Adobe's Create Now Las Vegas event.
I
So
saw that, girl. You looked
yeah,
awesome up on stage, and like
thank
your
you.
name was
That's the
huge.
first.
Like,
Yeah, talk about not intimidating at all. Because it was at
yeah.
Area 15, which is like a whole venue about interactivity. So literally their walls are screens. So I was not expecting that. But it was pretty a lot of friendly faces, and it was cool to kind of showcase my work and how I come my artwork specifically and how I combine digital, but still bring in like the handmade aspect to it.
Yeah, because that was you were talking about your series on, let me see, I wrote this down.
On the band.
Your lyrics art series, right?
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about that. That's real. I saw a little bit of that on LinkedIn. I was like, I need some of that on my walls.
Ah, I can send you the Etsy link later, but yeah, so that started I needed a piece of art for my wall, for my bedroom. So without being intentional, like it was a lot of music posters, but that wall had my meditation altar. So I was like, I just started like, oh, I like this piece of lyric from Oasis from Don't Look Back in Anger, and it's get step inside the eye of your mind.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, cool. And I don't know, I just started flowing like
I won't
against.
bust out singing for you. I'll
Yeah.
save everyone's ears. I could though.
I
I know
could
that song.
join in with you, so then that way both of us be back together.
Bust out the guitar if I could actually play
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so it started like that. Like it started as something for me, and then like I really liked it, and I'm like I just started doing more. And now I have four paintings and two on the way.
That's awesome. When did you
Yeah,
start
it's
this? Like a year ago, a couple years ago?
like 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very
4 or 5
cool.
years ago. Yeah.
I know. I keep telling myself I'm gonna do that. I'm like, I gotta like create art, and then I don't.
Yeah,
I need to
I
do it.
I I was doing the same, and it was really hard to find time because my job at the time was just a lot of overtime, and then you're really tired. But once I started doing it, and I felt like I noticed how, man, even if it's 30 minutes of gessoing the canvas, like that was so relaxing and meditative. So it's like, okay, I need to start doing more of this, but without putting the pressure of like, I need to finish it in a week. And like I said,
Yeah.
like, all I could today was 30 minutes. That's fine.
Yeah, it's
Right?
still relaxing. Yeah, I did a painting with my daughter. She's really artistic. And not like just naturally. I gave her some markers when she was about 18 months old. We were getting ready for to move, and I'm like, here, entertain yourself. And she sat there for like 3 hours, and it was like that's been her jam ever since. Like that's what she does. So, but yeah, she was like, Mom, can we paint? Can we paint? Can we paint? She wanted to do stuff over the summer. So we finally got around to it. And that was the first time I had probably painted, created, and yeah, it felt good. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. So are you similar to me? Like, are you artistic by nature? Like, did you get into design like through art? Like, what was your journey?
Yeah, so I'm artistic by nature. My dad was an artist. So since little, he was always painting and drawing and like instilling all that in me, um, and like teaching me techniques. Honestly, though, when it came to college, I didn't know that I could make a career out of anything artistic. So I actually started majoring in engineering because I was just really good at science.
What? That's a
Math.
flip.
I was like, oh, okay, I'll do chemical engineering. And then I was
Oh,
like,
oh,
I don't like this. This is when I was in like taking the college courses, I was like, oh God, no. I'll switch to mechanical. It's a little bit more creative. Maybe I get to
yeah,
design cars and la, and yeah, it was funny when they give you like the semester project and it's like a group thing. I volunteered on the aesthetics. I'm like, I don't care how you solve the problem. Like, I'll make it look pretty. And that's when I was like, oh shit, this is a sign. I need
yeah,
to switch majors.
yeah. But
So,
seriously, you're like drawing, you're following like where you're
yeah.
magnetized to, like what you're drawn to. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I switched to architecture and while
Getting closer.
yeah, so while that semester started, you have to like apply to get chosen, I mean, to get selected into the
Yep.
college of architecture. I took graphic design, some graphic design courses just to build a portfolio because I didn't have one. I was doing engineering.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. I was like, I went from staying till 3 a.m. solving crazy math problems to staying till 3 a.m. solving design problems, but that I love. Like I loved it. Like the time just flew by.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
You
I
get in the
found
zone.
I
Yeah. I love
found
the
it.
zone.
Yeah.
Did you do art before college and before dabbling in engineering and architecture and or not too much?
Not too much. Mostly when I was little, like with my dad, like we would do a lot of art, but not, I didn't really pick it up again until I started studying design.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause-
that's really cool.
yeah, because I went to the University of Houston and their program is the first 2 years, you're not allowed to touch the computer.
Oh, nice.
Everything has to be either handmade or use a photocopier. So like we would be at Kinko's, like putting all kinds of crazy stuff inside.
Oh,
Like,
Kinko's.
yeah, and
We
and
just
because
aged
they,
ourselves.
yeah, we
You
just
were
did.
like, what's
I think
Kinko's?
I did when I said Oasis, but
No, I think Oasis is cool, guys. Like Nirvana, we were like,
that's true.
that's yeah. Oh, you see all the
Yeah,
teenagers wearing their Nirvana shirts, and you're like, you don't even know.
yeah. No, but like that was cool because they wanted us to learn and focus on learning how to see, like how to train your eye
The
without.
foundations, yeah,
Yeah, without
composition
getting
and
overwhelmed of like, how do I use Photoshop? What's this tool do? So because of that, like I really got back into art again because you just have to be creative with like, how do I make this poster? Oh, I'm gonna cut paper, but I'm also gonna do serigraphy and I'm gonna, I don't know, splatter glitter on it, whatever. So
oh yeah, yeah, I do. My college program was very similar. It was, you had to do all the foundations, drawing, everything
yeah,
charcoal painting, and that's what I loved about
color.
it. So, yeah. And then you like picked your major, I think it was our sophomore year, and then you had to apply and get in and stuff. So, the first pretty much year and a half or so was just exactly what you're saying was like, you know, don't touch the computer. It was all very foundational art stuff. So, it was cool. It was really cool. So,
Yeah, yeah. And then I think, that is something I enjoyed about bringing, like starting the lyrics paintings is it took me back to my first 2 years in college studying design.
yeah. And you're tapping into those kind of tactile things that you had lost. Yeah, yeah. So you jumped into graphic design in Houston and you were what, your sophomore, junior year or something?
My junior year.
Okay, yeah, that time's out and so you didn't look back in anger.
Exactly.
You see what I did
Exactly.
there? Oh,
Hey.
hey. So that's awesome. And so after college, where did that take you?
So I was doing an internship at a post-production house, edit and post-production house. So that really got me into motion graphics design, like learning it. I was doing like designing the lower thirds and intros and stuff. Um, and based on that in my mind, like I wanted to go work for Imaginary Forces and design movie title sequences because like they were so cool. But I lived in Houston, so I mean, there was something like
You'd have to go to LA or something, yeah.
there was, yeah. But basically, like my internship was over, and I landed a job at a small graphic design firm. But I had interviewed at an ad agency in Houston called Lopez Negrete, and my friend that went to school with me, she was doing motion graphics. She said like, hey, try this agency because they do, they sometimes hire graphic designers and whatnot. So I applied. At that moment, they just had hired a designer, so I didn't get in. But the creative director was like, I want to bring you in, so like keep checking in with me. So a year later, I got hired there in their studio, um, in their production studio. But that's also when I learned about art direction,
Mm,
which is, for example, not something that I don't know now, but back then it's not an avenue they show you in design school that you can go,
no.
you know.
Yeah.
So,
They don't
uh,
really lay out your career in design school. They're not like, here are going to be your options when you leave these
yeah, you
four
can do web
walls. Yeah.
design, you
They
can do
just teach you the
motion, you can do,
foundations. They're like, okay, bye, go.
yeah, exactly. Whichever class you like best, well, maybe that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Um,
There's not a lot of
so
career help. Yeah, no. In
um,
navigating the waters there.
yeah, go design signage somewhere. I don't know.
You're kind of left to your own devices. Like, go design something.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. It's like I wrote my first one was trade show booths. So go figure.
Oh,
Yeah. That's a whole story I won't get into, but that
yeah.
was my internship. But yeah, so you moved from kind of doing the motion graphics into art. You were like, what's art direction?
What's art direction? Yeah. So I mean, the first, I think about my first 2 years at that agency, I was at the production studio. So yeah, I was like resizing things for the most part. And then I noticed like, okay, so art direction, like as an art director, I can guide the entire visual look and feel of a campaign beyond just your traditional design media, right? That we were
Yeah.
taught. It's like, well, how does this apply to a commercial, right? Not just the end cards, like how does that come through in the set direction, in the wardrobe, in like all these different pieces. And I really enjoy that challenge. And I'm not saying that in design you don't get to design obviously for a range of media. So that challenge is still there, but like how do you bring it into something as well that doesn't necessarily have graphic design in your face, you know?
Yeah, you're envisioning beyond, the screen or the paper. It's like you have to think of all the moving parts and how they're gonna like be interconnected and cohesive and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a bigger thing to think about, like when you move away from here's a problem solve, go design it. Art directions like, all right, someone's over here designing that. It's kind of like being, the conductor of an
Yes.
orchestra. Yeah, yeah, I love that
Yeah.
analogy.
Yeah, that's a great way to
Yeah.
put it because it's like, oh, compose me a Western song, right? Like, I know maybe the best way to tell this campaign is a Western song. So you go to the designers and you're like, do your magic, but stay in this world. Uh,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, and then later too, that expanded into coming up with campaign concepts, like not just visual, like the whole thing. And that was pretty cool because I've always liked psychology. So I also really enjoy that part of the insights,
Yeah.
people, like the audience behavior and their likes, their dislikes, and how do you use that? I mean, saying the word "use" sounds manipulative, but I don't mean
How do you use it to sell?
how do you sell? How do I make you buy things you don't need? No.
That's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
Well, stuff
So
you need too. Stuff you need to. Yeah.
yeah,
Not just stuff you
yeah,
don't need.
yeah. But like I always found that pretty interesting too. So
Yeah.
it was like a really, to me, ended up being like a career where I was melding a lot of my passions, right? Like the creativity. Maybe I'm not here necessarily painting, but it's still creativity with psychology.
And the problem solving that you were talking about, from the engineering stuff. I mean, there's a lot of problem solving in design, but I'm sure some of that you learn through that time in engineering, you're like, it's all problem solving. I
Yeah,
do
and
think
that's
that's the connection engineers have with designers is we're all problem solvers in different ways.
exactly. And like that's one thing when I started taking the graphic design courses that made me fall in love. It's like, oh wow, like this isn't just making things pretty just to make things pretty. There's like a science and psychology and theory behind this. And I really, really liked it because like you say, I'm problem solving. So I got to connect my science nerd part with my artsy part and make a career that I didn't know existed.
That's really cool. So how did you make the leap from you were doing like production stuff and you then learned about, oh, there's this thing, art direction sounds really good for me,
Yeah.
because it sounds like you're more of a big picture visionary and you like to make things happen, although you do it all, end to end, but you get more like excited about that part maybe. But how did you then go, oh, that's something I want to do and make that leap? Because I think that's something that people do want to know is how do you make the leap from like, individual contributor, maybe even being more on the production end. You're like, hey, I want to be more on the front end, or I want to be thinking bigger picture, and I want to be the conductor. I don't want to be playing the instruments anymore.
Yeah. I think, like I said, it was all by accident, but it happened once I got into Lopez Negrete. And shout out to my creative director at the time, Lupe Marmolejo. She really mentored me into what art direction is. Like she saw something in me that I didn't know I had. And she's like, I'm gonna make you an art director. And what the agency was also very helpful in is, and even my bosses in the production studio, is they knew what I wanted to do eventually with my career. So they, as long as I finished my work on time, they allowed me to spend time, let's say, with Lupe and like listening in, to the other art directors, the
Oh, that's so
copywriters,
great.
listening to how things were made. Whenever there was any production or shoot in Houston, which weren't that many, um, if I had finished my work, they would let me go and attend and just learn. So that's when I started seeing more of the things that were to art direction, and like I really started liking it. But it wasn't like, oh, one day it hit me. It was just as
Over time. Yeah,
over
and
time.
looking back, you're like, oh, that's when it clicked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. So that you had great mentors, people who just kind of opened doors for you, kind of took you under their wing. Observing was
Yeah.
huge, like just going and taking those opportunities to, you're not necessarily talking, you're just observing, watching how things get done. And are they mainly like a advertising agency?
Yes. So
Okay.
Lopez Negrete is a pretty big U.S. Hispanic agency. So they specialize in the U.S. Hispanic market. So yeah, like I got to work with them, like Bank of America, Walmart, uh, pitches for like Dr. Pepper, 7-Up, which we won. It was like Visa. I got to work on Visa. Um,
Awesome. Some
that
big
one was like,
names. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so I wouldn't get to do much design, like original design, because what happens usually with the US Hispanic agencies is the general market agencies or a big graphic design firm already design the look and feel for the brand. So
Hmm.
you just have to take that and
Yeah.
that. But sometimes I did get to design from scratch. And then there were points, yeah, where I missed it, and
Yeah.
it's something that I mean, I've been in this career 20 something years, but I've always missed I want to design, even though I'm art directing, like what I want to design, like I want to come up, or I'm like, oh man, this could be done better if it was this, but that's not your task, right? Like
Yeah. Did you ever find ways to
Discover
just like,
already designed their thing.
I was
So
gonna say, did you ever find your ways to slightly get your hands dirty?
yeah,
Like-
yeah.
Me too,
Exactly.
me too. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. I would always be like, "Oh, I made this little sketch. Maybe we could like, yeah,
Hey.
sneak it in." Like, so
Yeah.
sometimes I'd get it in there. Like there was something for Tide. I sketched out this Acti Lift logo was my design that I sketched out on like sheet of paper sitting on the desk. I was like, what if we just did this? And I'm like, we got to get this done. We've been on like 6 rounds of this thing.
Oh my
It was
God.
like, yeah, it was like the icon for the, technology that was launching, which was a big deal, but it was
Yeah.
just one part of like this huge initiative. I'm like, we just got to get this done. And like,
And
we
they
couldn't
bought it?
get the team to line anything. Yeah, it's the one that ended up launching. I know, it was
Nice.
exciting. I was like, I did that little
Yes.
part there.
But isn't it exciting? Like when you're like, you can tell your family and friends that are absolutely not in that world of creativity. And you're like, oh, I made that.
A hundred
I designed
percent. It's till this
that.
day, like we just worked on CMA design, just redid the Cherub's tomatoes. The ones that come in that cute little bowl looking thing. And, it was a slight refresh. And I saw it the other day in the store and I was like, oh my God, it's out. It's out. It's finally out.
Yeah.
I felt a little famous. I was like, oh, I mean, I didn't even design it. I came up with the strategy.
Uh-huh.
And one of the like concepts was to do fun little characters because, like tomatoes and like vegetables, they're competing with salty snacks, which I also know a lot about because I worked on Pringles. So I was like, "Pff, tomato or a Pringle, let me decide." But yeah, so they're competing with that, so we brought in these characters and that's what they thought was the right strategy. And it was really cool. But yeah, when you see it on shelf or you see it, on TV or it's launched or, on the billboard, there's always that little like 5 seconds of fame, like, yeah, that's mine. I did that.
Yeah.
Even if you only were like a little part of it. I know that's exciting when things launch for sure. So when you like, how did you finally like, what role did you land that got you into that art direction kind
Um,
of lane?
yeah, so the first one was a graphic designer at the production studio in the
Yep.
ad agency. And then from there, I got promoted to art director. And then just been moving up from there. In 2021, yes, 2021, I got hired at Chiat Day, LA. And that's actually where I made the jump from US Hispanic or multicultural to general market. Um, and yeah, I was an associate creative director there.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. And at that point, you're like, I get to come up with ideas now
Yeah, yeah.
because you're general
I've been
market.
coming up with them, but it's like now you have more ownership of the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Like from scratch. Yeah. You're not like handed, here's a campaign, now make it work for Hispanic. Yeah, which is
Exactly.
still a lot of work. I mean, I've been on the client side of that, seeing like how much has to, evolve for it to make sense for
I
a
mean, it's
different
a lot of
market.
work because on US Hispanic, you always have to be proving what's Hispanic about it.
Well, the hardest part I found was for like the receiver of the work and like having to what, like look at it and help. It's like sometimes the big idea from general market just does not resonate with Hispanics. So you're like, I gotta like pigeonhole this into the Hispanic market and it's not going to resonate. Yeah, that I bet that was pretty tough sometimes having to have those conversations.
Yeah, but luckily we had through my career, like we've had the clients where they hired those agencies and it's like, for example, let's say, I can't remember right now who came up with it, but whoever had Xfinity Comcast at the time, they came up with the Future of Awesome platform. But we didn't have to take their commercials and their things and translate it. Like we had to come up with what worked for our market.
Yeah. Did it have
And
to fit that umbrella or were you able to
yeah.
like, hey, this doesn't work. We got to come up with a different slogan.
So our slogan, what we did is because awesome has so many different words in different countries in
Yeah.
Latin America. So instead of we explained that to the client and they bought it to where we switch it.
Okay.
It's
Yep.
like the future of nítido, chévere, etc.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
but we came with that, we came to them with like this is the why.
Right. It doesn't translate. You need a different solution that's
Yeah.
adjacent, but not an exact translation. Yeah.
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 So luckily, yeah, like I haven't been in an agency yet where it's like we're just literally just doing translations
Yeah.
spot or whatever they're
No, you
doing.
really can't. I mean, it's not usually just translating, it has to resonate with that. I mean, it's a different target audience with maybe
Yeah,
the same needs, but, a different approach to how you sell it and communicate it. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
It's like, again, it's not just like, hey, take this, make a few edits and take it to market. Sometimes you're coming up with all new, well, most of the times you're coming up with new commercial spots, right? And completely new
Yeah.
assets.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So then you're like, you're now in Gen Pop, so you're like, yeah, this is, different.
Yes.
Making that transition, and you've been, you're now an associate creative director. Is that right? Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
in my last role, I was a freelance role, but creative director. I did a freelance for 2 months for Kia So that was also
Oh, fun.
cool. And it was that agency really embraces AI. Um, Obviously not for the work that goes out live in the world, because the legalities and all that is still very, very iffy. But for all the key visuals to present things to client. So
That's interesting. So
it's
what'd you
like,
learn
oh,
there?
I mean, I've been already messing around with Midjourney, but this was the speed. Like you really, I mean, it's just really makes it faster. Like
Yeah.
before, when I'm doing key visuals for a script or the key visual to sell the idea and having to search images on Google, like every different image is like, oh, here's a picture of a woman sitting on the chair. But now I need a window and now I need this, and it has to be the same angle. And then you're photoshopping and the lighting and all. It took forever just for one. And now I'm not saying it's super fast because obviously it still gets things wrong,
Yeah.
but it makes it faster and easier because you in general already kind of get what you want. Or I still do it in pieces, but I already can tell it the same angle, the same thing, and then I piece it together. And then with Nano Banana, it's like that agency doesn't necessarily use that, but my partner did. He has,
Hmm.
and it was just like crazy how I can be like, okay, well, it's done this, but I need it. It's not attaching the billboard right. And then he would take it and then it would
That's what
like
I've
the image
heard.
I
Like,
made and do it.
yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was so much faster.
But I've heard you need to use like three or four because one does one thing well and then another one does this other thing well. And so it's not like, oh, just be in Midjourney. It's like you have to kind of different ones do different things well. You have to like layer them together.
Yeah, we joked that we were the Nano Journey team
Yeah.
because I would usually start the image from scratch with Midjourney because Midjourney is like real it's better. Yeah, it's the quality is better. And then I would give it to him. Though I admit though there was a point where sometimes the visuals he would come up with and Nano would like really like it would understand the prompt better.
That's so intriguing. Yeah.
Yeah, though for editing images that already exist, Nano is really, really good. Like you don't have that capability in Midjourney.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's so much to deal with.
yeah, I mean, and now Adobe's been super smart and it's adapted all those models into its software. So it's like, yeah, now even doing things in Photoshop is so much easier. I could just like select you right now and change your background
Yeah. Yeah. It's
or adjust the
faster.
lighting. So it's like now it looks like you are in the same space that I put you in.
That's amazing. I mean, but you have to have the vision, right? I mean, it's like if you don't have the vision of that like things feel off or the angle's off or comes back down to those fundamentals. Like you have to have the eye for it and like just
Agree.
understand it, or you don't know
Agree.
what to prompt it, right?
Agree, because it's not just detecting that it made six fingers or that
Yeah.
your nose is crooked, weird, or something.
Yeah,
It's
fix crooked nose is not it's just not gonna know what to fix. Yeah.
yeah, so it is true. Like you need the idea. You come
Yeah.
up with an idea because to your point, then you have to tell it what to prompt. And without the idea in mind, you also don't know what to tell it is doing wrong.
Yeah. Now,
But
and the other piece that I've heard a lot of people kind of talk about is you can get it so far, but you have to put some final touches on it yourself. Like,
yes,
kind of do your own, like, okay, I'm tired, not just tired, but like, I can't get this prompt to do exactly what I'm envisioning. So you just kind of get in there into Photoshop and do it, yourself, So I don't know if you've encountered that in your
yes.
experience.
Yeah, I was designing some billboards for a concept for Discover, and um, it was around myths, right? Because Discover people think is not accepted everywhere. So the concept was,
Oh,
you know,
yes, I love that commercial. I've had a Discover card since I was like 20. So
yeah,
I love that commercial because it's so real. Because I do remember being like, oh, I'm going to travel internationally. Do they take Discover? And then so I always had a
yeah. So
Visa
I
and a
mean,
Discover. Yeah.
Yeah, so back in 2023, 2024, like that was still a bit of a, of a challenge that they were having. So th this concept didn't go out live, but it was, it was myths, right? So I had to do like a 3D billboard in New York, and it was an alligator coming out of the sewer. And it was just not getting it. Like, if it got the angle of the sewage hole right, it didn't get the skyline look. It wasn't even a skyline. It's like out in the country, and it's like, but I said New York, and or the alligator doesn't look scary, and I did tell it to do scary alligator. So eventually, like I just prompted the alligator on a clean white background, and then prompted the background, open sewer, New York skyline, whatever, and then I put it together in Photoshop because it just
I think you mentioned this on one of our
wasn't getting.
cohorts or something, like because it alligators don't live in New York, it was getting confused or something.
No, it was the concept is like, oh, let's say it's a myth that Discover is not accepted 100, 99% of places. But
Yeah.
what's really myth is like, but you like you don't believe that Discover is accepted, but you do believe that alligators live in the sewage of New York. It
Yeah.
was I'm
But
ad
it wasn't
libbing.
AI getting confused, you had said, because it was like alligators in New York or something like that. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
exist. And then AI
clearly
didn't
because
want to like
I was
put the
saying New York,
alligator in the city or
yeah,
something. Like,
or
it's
like
very
a
literal. My
ditch.
daughter was telling me there's like all these I don't have time these days to be online, like just scrolling random stuff anymore, but she likes to fill me in and she's like, man, she's like, Mom, AI is so dumb. Like it's so literal. Like you can't, tell it to put, an animal that doesn't belong in that place there. It won't do it because it's
No.
like just not realistic. So it won't do it.
No, at the most, at the closest I got in one prompt is it put it in a ditch of like what could be a city. I don't know. It was just like a ditch and
Yeah.
grass.
Yeah. It just refused to put an alligator in the city. Yeah. That's where AI gets tripped up.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
literalness. That's fun. And so you went from kind of the agency campaign world, and what are you doing now?
So, yeah, now unfortunately I was part of all the layoffs that have been happening in the ad industry. And I started just getting back more into design. I've gotten, which I really enjoy. So I got in a few freelance gigs where I'm designing logos for clients that are launching a business. And that's been, I was like, oh my God, it felt so good because I
Yeah.
missed it. I
Yeah.
missed it. And from there, it's like, okay, maybe I should start my creative studio, which the services and stuff are still kind of in the works. Like all I have right now is a name, and now I'm working on the logo, and I got to work on like, the little,
Oh, it's a labor of love. I know.
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
have to tell
So
me.
it's like, oh,
Starting
and the
your own
little,
business, your own studio. Oof. Yeah, the hustle's real.
I know, but I was like, okay, it's like I'm at a weird spot, right? Because I'm like, oh, do I want to go back to advertising? Which I'm not. I'm like, I do. So it's like, well, maybe do I go full time or do I continue freelancing
Yeah.
while I build the studio? And at the moment, I'm not thinking necessarily the studio is to take over as my sole business, but I think in the market where right now you have to diversify.
Amen. Yes.
So
I
it's like
agree.
I need to have something that's mine that I'm not relying on, did the client leave and now, this whole team's getting laid off.
Yeah, I mean that's you, it's nice to have a I do the same thing. I talk diversifying my cash flow options.
I mean, look, you coach. You coach.
I
You
do. I coach and
things.
it's working and people come. So it's been good because like I agree with you on the diversifying and one of the ahas maybe you shared in this is that I saw what was happening. I saw people getting laid off, but also in my career, I started feeling like I was so reliant on a corporate job.
Yes.
And, hit or miss, like if it wasn't a good culture fit or it wasn't a good boss fit or you gotta go somewhere else or you gotta look for another city, and it was just so like getting exhausting. And I definitely worked up, the ladder and was head of design by the time I was 40 and was doing all the right things, right? So, and but yet I wasn't like satisfied. I'm like, I don't know, I
Okay.
just want more. So yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, and it's funny people talk about the coaching being my side hustle, or I'm like, nope. They're like, I work at CMA Design as a strategist. Love that because I get to do exactly what I am great at and what I love
Yeah.
without all the bureaucracy, which I was good at but didn't love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it was more of like survival, I had to do it to survive. But yeah, no, I love that idea of diversifying and having something you can like have that's your own, like hey, even if you go back to corporate or go back to agency, you still have this that you can do and kind of control how much you do it and always have it there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like and work directly with maybe like smaller, medium-sized businesses and help them grow. There's something satisfying in helping them. Like I just my boyfriend introduced me to the owner of a local furniture store here in Vegas, and they hire me to do the like a concept, a campaign concept for the President's Day sale. And that was fun. It was a little like nervous, because I was a one-woman shop.
Yeah, you're like, can I do it
One person
all?
shop in this. Um, but it's like I have the knowledge, like I've done it, so I did it and it was great. It was fun seeing the commercials on YouTube and develop a good relationship and yeah,
Yeah.
so that could be a future client for
Yeah.
myself. But yeah, like that was it was refreshing. I mean, not to hate on the bigger agencies, but sometimes it was a little bit suffocating to have to go through so many rounds of approval before you even got to the client. That's just like internal. And it's just like round and round and round and round. Like you were saying, like, man, we've been at this for six rounds. And we
Yeah, I
haven't even
agree.
gotten to the client,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
so it's just like I mean, obviously, you being direct with the client, they have feedback, but it was just easier to remove so many opinions.
There are a lot of opinions in our industry. I mean, it's so opinionated, subject. I mean, so many cooks in the kitchen
Exactly,
without
exactly.
a clear chef, like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
How
it's
did
hard.
you pivot into being more in strategy? Because I think that's pretty cool.
Um, you know, I've always been like kind of big picture. I'm really good at connecting kind of what you were saying, the who and the target and the needs.
Mm.
A lot of that came from my training and just kind of osmosis and observing at P&G
Okay.
when I was there for 7 years. And back in the day when I was there in 2005, I think they still do a lot of training, but I think they did more training on the upfront consumer stuff. I was there when AG Lafley was there, and it was all about consumer's boss. And so understanding consumer was critical, and that um, just got me understanding like the who and who we're designing for. And I
Yeah,
think that's where my strategy discipline really came into play. And I've always found that with business partners, if I can connect to the target and then say, this is how we sell more to that target, then
yeah.
design becomes easy. Or
No, I agree.
can't
I
say
agree.
easy, but easier.
Easier. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's never easy. It's never easy. So yeah, I think that's, and then, just kind of, I'm a big picture thinker. Like that's all my personality tests. That's what comes back. And so I'm a dot connector and I love seeing like helping people like get end to end and seeing it come to fruition. So I think that was just I'm a driver. I'm like a go, let's get it done. GSD is like, my motto. And so yeah, it's just been what I've been able to do. And so um coming up with strategy was a way to get people aligned.
Okay.
Yeah. And like mood boards or like, hey, when you say like when I was in fem care, I worked on Always, and the word that got thrown around all the time was femininity, make it more feminine. And it's like, well, we used oh, what were like Sporty Spice and the Spice Girls like as a way to say, well, which kind of feminine are you?
Are you sporty? Are you
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, and it worked, and the business got it, and they were like, "Oh, well, for this one, we need to be Sporty Spice." And, for your brand equity, like is always more, posh or is always more, sporty or so, and just figuring out how to use those shortcuts for people to understand design,
Yeah.
and seeing it click and trial and error.
Yeah.
So yeah, that taught me strategy. It was like it's all in the strategy, it's all in the thinking, and the rest follows.
Yeah, I agree. Because like now that I've been getting back more into design and like for example the logos that I've been doing and even the work for Walker Furniture is starting it's easier when you start with who is your audience and what is this client trying to do. It's like, oh, okay, so you're an HR consultancy company, but you work mostly with creative agencies. Okay, so now it kind of gives me an idea like it has to look, maybe classic or modern, but it has to have a little, hey, this
Yeah, like a
you're
classic
starting.
Martin with a slight edge. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm working on a logo right now for like a flower import business that my friend's launching. And one of the things he said, he's like, I don't want the stereotypical sentimentality.
Hmm.
My target is eventually will be consumers, but first it's also going to be event planners. It's kind of people's is like, okay, definitely. So now I understand like, okay, and it's very organic, it's from the ground. So it's like, okay, so it has to have a little bit, like a bit of elegance, but without being girly feminine, because event planners don't do just weddings.
Yeah,
Especially
exactly.
living in Vegas, they could be doing an event for the launch of a restaurant or
Yep.
something, so it's like, it definitely helps because it helps weed out any other crazy options that don't go, you know.
Yeah. And I just learned, it's share the strategy first and like the why, and then people understand the design.
Yeah.
And I always share, I might share multiple strategies that are on brief, but even on brief, it's like, well, you could do this or that. You can major in this, you can minor in that, or you can choose to go down this path or that path. And I feel like my job is just to guide people to see the possibilities and
Hmm.
then let them choose. And once I kind of liberated myself of that, like, pick the one I like,
Yeah,
life was a
yeah,
lot easier. I'm like, I'm just giving you the possibilities. You need to decide what's right for your business, for your brand. And then that made things easier because it was like, I've given you choices and now you can,
yeah.
from there, we've talked about why it's on brief, why it makes sense for your brand, why it makes sense for the business. But you get paid the high dollar, so you need to make the decision.
I mean,
So,
at the
and then
end, you are the owner. You are the one that knows your baby the best.
that's
And
kind
you're
of
the
it.
one
Yeah.
that knows the best how you want to be perceived. So, because yeah, I agree. I always start with a slide that does a pre-set up either like first, if they already gave me the insight or the strategy, what they want to achieve, I'm reminding you of what we said.
Well, 100%. Let's start with
And
just the base here. This is what you told
remember this,
me.
yeah, this is where we're going. So
Yeah.
here are these options.
Yeah.
So reflect more premium. So reflect more organic of the year. So reflect more. And then you can decide. And even when it comes to the color palettes, I do the same. And I'll go and I'll find like the psychological meaning of each color
Yeah.
and how it applies to your brand. And then again, you pick like here are
And you
this.
present that like this color means, this color
I
psychologically
do.
cues. Yeah, exactly. And that makes a huge difference. It takes that subjective kind of opinionated stuff and makes it more factual. Like, if this is a calming color and you're trying to be calm, or you're giving a spa-like feeling, you want to go down this palette. And that's when people start understanding. You got to like speak in their terms and like connect that dot of like it's not just pretty colors, it's colors
Yeah.
have meaning.
Yeah, like even that presidential campaign, like, I mean, I didn't come up just with the concept, but I came up with like the visual look and feel, like the graphic design of it. And I took the typical USA blue from
I was
presidential
gonna say it was very
I made it cyan.
Americana.
I made it
Yeah.
cyan. Because it's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, you want a more like younger audience. That's
Oh,
what you
instead of the deeper
think.
blue. I noticed that. It's more
Yeah.
fresh and energetic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. Like, oh, I want to get you to walk in the door, energetic. And also a little bit of like, let's not get it confused with an actual presidential campaign spot,
Yeah, that's true with midterms around the corner.
Yeah, yeah, and even the red, like it's not like the pure red, like I changed the hue a little bit. And yeah, and then like the look and feels like, okay, let's do presidential campaign, kind of like how you have like all the advertising, but let's youth it up. I don't know,
Yeah,
just
that's really smart. I love how you explain that because I also love that you're the one who did it. It's like you're doing the thinking and you're doing it. Because I think so many times people are like, "Oh, designers are just a set of hands. Oh,
yeah.
designers just do what they're told." I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how to start communicating to people that it's the thinking and the doing. Like it's not, sometimes they're two separate entities. Like I'm a strategist and I work with a designer and I'm like, here's some ideas, here's some things that are trending, here's what's going to resonate with the target. Like, yeah, I do that thinking, but at the same time, it's like I could go design. My designer could have done that too, but maybe didn't have time because they were working on another project. That doesn't mean a designer doesn't do that type of thinking. You know,
Exactly.
it just means like they didn't have the time or don't have the skill set quite yet. But I think all designers think conceptually, you
Yes.
know. So I
Yeah.
think that's a misconception that like designers just do, or they're just
Yeah.
pixel pushers. That's like my pet peeve right now is like the pixel pushing. I'm like, ugh, I don't
But
know.
I
I don't
can do
like
it in
that term.
Canva. I can just take a Canva template and do it in Canva. And I'm like, yeah, but it's gonna be ugly. Or it's not
Just so
gonna
you
make
know,
sense.
it's just gonna
It's
be
not,
ugly.
there's no thinking behind it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like,
And there's
like
no
a,
ownability. I mean, anyone can take that Canva
yeah,
template. Yeah,
it doesn't, sure, you start with the template, but that doesn't take away the fact that you're putting like way too much copy in that one presentation slide. And
yeah,
now people are not going to know where to read, or it's going to be too much information. They might not even look at the rest of the deck. So there's like a lot of what you're saying, like not just for the audience, but like also just theory, design theory.
yeah.
Like that's our specialty, right? There's things that affect legibility.
So
There's
when you became an art director and more directing, did you find it hard to have to communicate to others like your vision or, hey, let's think about this or without like getting executional with them?
yeah, it would be hard because sometimes, for example, even in advertising, you find like clients want to put everything on a post image. And it's really hard to explain like you don't need the logo in the image because the logo is in your profile picture right above your thing.
Yeah.
You have post copy. So maybe let the caption do the rest of the work for you and treat the image as the attention grabber,
Yeah.
right? It's like how they taught us in the science school with a poster. It's like what catches your eye from like 6 feet away and makes you walk closer, makes you walk closer. But they would want back in the day when people did print ads, they would want so much info on a print ad. And it's just like this is too much, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying it had to be like a cryptic ad, like with barely any copy, but that would be hard. And also, even within the agencies, is when they're doing a pitch deck or any kind of deck, and just getting that battle of like when you're the one that has to design it, even if there's already like a template, but you still the one that has to like format it and being like, is there any way we can break up this strategy slide or this data slide into two or something because this is too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
That eye doesn't know where to go is overwhelming. And you might not notice that it's affecting you in a way, but it is affecting you in a way. Like it's going to affect your whoever is viewing that presentation.
Yep. So there's kind of like twofold. It's like working with a client to whittle down the information and then working with the
Yeah.
designer to like figure out how to make it all work that you've been
Yeah.
briefed on. Yeah.
Or sometimes it's like other departments that are not creative, that they're responsible for their own sections of the deck, and then you, the designer, have to go through all of it and format it, and it's just like this isn't a headline, this is a paragraph. Can we make
Yes.
it? You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
do. I 100% do. Yes.
so that's what I mean, kind of like all that to say, like, yes, like Canva, for example, and other tools like make things much easier, but just because it makes it easier, it doesn't mean that whatever you create, if you're not a designer, is going to be good.
Or impactful or
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't
That's
just
right.
trust because it's in Canva that it's like good design.
Yeah, like two of the logos I just did, it came from clients who try to do it themselves in AI and it didn't work.
That's good. That's
Because
like
it
music.
wasn't
That's music to
working.
my ears.
Yeah, because it wasn't working. They're like, I just need to get somebody that knows what they're doing to do this.
So maybe a little time and patience for people just to wait for those clients to come back to you. It's like they might try, but they're going to see how hard it is. Yeah. If you don't
Yeah.
have the right prompting and you don't have the vision, like we were saying at the beginning of the call, at the end of the day, you still need that human with the thinking, you know.
Yeah. Like
You still
I
need the
mean,
skill set.
I use Canva to design a deck for LULAC. It's like a fundraising deck. And and yeah, like I'm not opposed to the program because yeah, like maybe I think what it allows you maybe is to, without changing your rate or lowering your rate, it allows you to maybe say like, okay, if you can only afford to pay me this much, but I'm not going to lower my hourly rate, maybe I'll start with something pre-existing. So
Yeah.
I'm not, so now I'm cutting out the concepting part of it, but I'm still giving it my twist. Obviously, I'm not just taking this template as is. Um,
It's a
it's like
starting point. It's like
it's a
somebody
starting
pre-sketched
point.
for you, but then you're like making it your own.
Yeah. So for
Yeah.
example, that's something I'm keeping in mind for whenever I do start working out like what services and the pricing of my studio is, do I, especially considering like, okay, well, if I'm gonna go like small and medium-sized businesses,
Because they
do
have
I,
smaller budgets, right? Yeah.
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 So
So how do you
how
work
do
within that to make yourself efficient so you're making the most amount possible? Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So in that sense, it's like I'm not like super opposed to it. Like it's just finding a way, like how do I work with it to, and also work with clients that want you to use that or think like, well, why is it going to take you 20 hours? Like you can do this on camera and it takes 10. And it's like, okay, well, if you only want me to spend 10, then okay, I'll start with that. But just know it's not going to be, you know,
Yeah.
something from scratch.
So did you deal with clients like this before you went out or on your own, or is this all kind of new to you and you're like, oh, I gotta figure this out?
I mean, it's kind of new. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the agencies, like they, I think because they were looking for campaigns. And I'm actually, in the creative department, I don't deal with the numbers and the scope of work. Like that's the account team. So I don't know if they had to deal with it. I don't
You
know
don't
if
know how
they,
much they were charging. Yeah, you're like, I don't
yeah, I don't know. I don't
know.
know if whenever they rework their scope of work and budget and stuff with the client for the year, I don't know those kind of conversations, you know. So
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
also like way outside of it.
So how are you like sense checking? Are you using like AI to say how much should I be charging? Or are you kind of like how are you calibrating your prices?
So I'm basing it just kind of like what I charge as a freelance.
Yeah.
And um I'm still like figuring out, for example, like that's when I started coming up like, okay, so maybe instead of spending this amount of hours, I spend this amount of hours.
Yeah.
Uh, and usually I don't necessarily give them maybe the hourly rate. I just give them, I use
Project
that to
rate.
come up with like the budget or like
Yeah. Yeah. That's very
this is the
familiar.
this is
Yeah.
this
Hmm.
is the cost. This is your package cost, and that gets you X amount of revisions. This gets this many hours for concepting, etc. You know,
I
and
I'm a huge proponent of as an industry, we have to stop charging hourly. Like
yeah,
we got to charge for the expertise.
yes,
I mean, that's my opinion is like, okay, if I'm doing strategy work, that's, that type of work costs a certain amount of money because it's not just the hours, it's the thinking, the
yes,
experience level.
the
It's like the more
research,
experience, the research, the audits, like if you're doing it right, you're gonna do those things. And I think what clients don't get is when you ask someone to like, oh, can you just whittle it down? Then they're not getting that thinking.
yes,
We're gonna jump straight to like an execution. Like, well, I'll give you solutions, but they won't be well thought out. You
yeah.
know?
Or I can give you well thought out solutions, but maybe you just get one
One.
visual,
Yeah. Yeah. You might
you
get two
know.
logos instead of three or four or five. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's what I mean. Like, okay, so if this is your budget, what's more important to you? Because we can do this, we can do that.
Yeah. When I was
Um,
on the client side, I just started telling the agency, like, I have this much money. Let's make it work within that. Because I get so tired of going like back and forth. Like, okay, write me a proposal, and it would come back 30 grand over budget, and I knew I only had 100 grand, and then I'm like, okay, I have 100 grand. Can you?
Why
This is
can't
what
we
I
do this?
need. Make it work within that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'd be like, I'll comp you on a project somewhere else if I need to. Can we just make the whole year work? Like, this
yeah,
is what I need. That was so much easier than this back and forth of like, oh, write me a proposal, tell me how much it is. It is like my budget was the same year on year. So it was like,
yeah.
at some point we just
That's
were
not
like, let's just
changing.
cut the crap.
How do we make it work?
Yeah, let's just make it work. So,
You
well,
can
so
go
where do you,
under, but don't go over.
yeah, exactly. I was like, keep it right at that. This is what I have. I don't have any more. I don't have any more of that. After that is gone. And I
Yeah,
need all of this done. This is what I need done. Can we do that? And then, yeah, they'd be realistic. They're like, well, we may be able to get you right up to that, and then like, and I'm like, cool. At least we're like, being realistic about it. So, but money, man, that is the hardest. Those are the hardest conversations,
yeah.
like trying to figure that out. So where do you see yourself like going this year? You're like, you're starting your own little agency, working with small to mid-sized clients. Where can people find you?
So yeah, I see myself doing that, and again, continuing to freelance for ad agencies. And if that from that comes a full-time job, then sure,
Diversify,
great, I'm
diversify.
open to it. But
Yeah. You're exploring. You're
my
like
studio's still gonna
exploring
be
your new
around.
life, your freedom.
Yeah, yeah, my studio's still gonna exist.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, you can find me. My Instagram is at Gwenny, GWENNIEE.
All right.
Um, my name is really long, so I don't know how to even do this for LinkedIn. But you can go to my website, Gwenny Space.
I will put your links on the
Oh,
so if
okay,
anyone's
okay,
listening to this to find Gwen, I'll put all her links in the comments. So comments on
okay.
LinkedIn, comments on YouTube. So when you guys watch the podcast, just go to the comments to find her links to all her stuff. And
Perfect.
then you can
Yeah,
work with Gwen. Super talented, Gwen. I love your work.
I
I'm
know. I
gonna
will put
sprinkle some of it throughout this podcast so that people can see.
perfect.
Yeah, do a couple little screenshots because you're super talented. And I'm so glad that we got to connect through the design cohort. And
Yes,
you've been like an awesome member, very like involved, showing up, speaking up. And yeah, I mean, have you enjoyed the design cohort? Are you enjoying that experience?
I do. I do. It's very insightful, like all the chats. And I love the format that you give that, which is it's like conversation.
I'm
And even if
trying.
even
We're
if
all
you do have,
introverted. No one wants to speak.
that's true,
It
but
is
at
true.
least you open it. Even like the last one where you had a deck and you had a presentation, you still leave time for people, or you allow people to pitch in and comment. So
Yeah, yeah. It's a two-way conversation. I think I've sat in too many where I feel like I'm getting preached at, and I'm like, I have something to say, but I also have question. It's like I have some info to give or like payback, or insight, but then you also want to learn. So you get to a point in your career, I feel like it's a two-way street.
yeah, see, and the universe like puts the things you need and you should connect with, and there's the design cohort on my LinkedIn, and click, click, click. Here we are,
Yeah,
you
I
know, and
know, and stay on it. I mean, everyone out there, that's what it's for. I've had people connect with other people for jobs. I've had people connect for freelance work. Somebody came to me like a week or two ago and was like, "Hey, do you have any good freelancers?" And I threw like five people from the cohort, their way. Because that's what the community is about. Is like it's hard enough, I think, for our industry as it is, and it just shouldn't be that hard. And we kind of get in our bubbles and in our silos, of like I'm at the agency, I'm at this corporate world, and like once you leave that, you realize, oh crap, I don't have anyone else. I have to start over. So that's what the design cohort's for, is like hopefully when you're moving around your career, you don't always have to start over. You have a network already built in. So
yeah, and that's a big learning lesson that I had when, with this layoffs. It's like I've been full-time all the time, and I do have a network, but it's not the same as a network for freelancing.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So gotta diversify in every way possible. But yeah, the cohort's one way of many, but I'm really happy with the diversity that we've been getting in the group. I mean, we got people doing freelance. We have people who've owned their businesses 20 years. We have people in in-house design. We have people on the agency side. Like it's very diverse, which is pretty unusual for our industry for us all to be at the same table talking.
Yeah, 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 that's very
So
true.
awesome. Well, Gwen,
Awesome.
thank you for talking to me today. And yeah, so I'll close this off later when I get back. But this has been a lot of fun.
Thank
We
you,
should we
Gabby.
should. So that was a great podcast. Ended a little abruptly. Didn't have a great transition out of that. However, moving on, I want to ensure that you guys are all welcome to become members of the design cohort at thedesigncohort.com. It's absolutely free. Follow our YouTube channel to never miss a beat on the Gab Design with Gabby podcast. As fall comes out, we will be doing more of these. And I hope you guys enjoy this podcast and reach out to Gwenny for any of your design needs as she is building her freelance business. So, hear you next time.